So, a very quick video about fish. Let's say you've been keeping fish for a bit and you want to switch to keeping these. You can learn from the mistakes I made, maybe, because I did some big ones. So I thought I'd do a really quick one about what to look out for if you're going to buy some of these fish. Trying to keep it quick. So first things first, where are you going to get them from? I don't think a local fish shop is the best place to get them from. All the ones I've seen in a fish shop have had a few problems, I think. I mean, that might be unfair to some fish shops. I'm sure there's some great ones out there, so don't listen to me on that front, but I wouldn't buy one from a fish shop. I would find a breeder. I would have a chat with that breeder. I'd go and see that breeder's fish. I would then maybe search up that breeder so you can find out about him. And you'll fairly quickly find out on some of the groups and forums and stuff like that if they're good or bad. Top tip, don't buy cheap. If you're going to do this, I don't think you can do this on the cheap. You are going to have to spend some money. And normally, more often than what happens is you'll try and save some money, so you'll buy cheap fish. It will cost you more in the long run. So that's the key thing, I think. Don't buy the cheapest. You do get what you pay for. Find someone that you trust. And paying that little bit extra, using someone that knows what they're doing, they'll likely help you if you do have problems. They'll be happy to help, or they should be, if they care about the fish. So that's the first top tip, is buy them from a reputable dealer. Check out that dealer, check out that dealer's fish, and then go online and see if you can find out some info on that dealer, and then go there. The next one really is how many and what size do you buy. If you haven't got any of these, you can't keep ones and twos. They won't be happy. Look at them in a group. They're a shoaling fish. They like to have mates. If you've only got one or two, they're stressed, they're nervous, they won't do well. So get a group. This is 500 litres. You need about 10 gallons of fish. Minimum group you want is probably 6. Don't go lower than that. It is true, the more the merrier. But then obviously the more fish you have, the more water changes you've got to do, and the more work it's going to be. So balance it out, be sensible to start with. But don't start with one fish. That won't work. And I wouldn't start with 2s or 3s. You've got to go for it, buy at least 6, buy good ones, and then the next question is kind of what size do you buy? Growing them out is a lot of work. You've got to change a lot of water, you've got to do a lot of food. That's why you have to change a lot of water. You could buy, I mean, he came along at probably about, 4 inches. He's turned up really good. This one over here, he's breathing rather heavily, not quite sure what he's been up to, probably fighting. He came in about 4.5, 5, and he's a whopper now. So get them about that size is what I would have done if I was doing it again. I bought loads of 2.5 inch fish. They turned up less than 2.5 inches. They didn't do very well. I did get a big group, but then I didn't really check out the dealer that much. And of course I got what I paid for. So then I'm back starting again a year later buying more expensive fish because I knew I could look after them. And I wasn't worried about losing them, when I wish I'd just done that to start with, because when you buy a big fish like that, they're pretty tough. He's got his friends in there, he's not stressed, he's a big lad. He's much easier to look after, and things don't tend to bother them so much when they're that size, I don't think. So big ones are easier than little ones. Don't have a little group. Buy at least 6, get more if you can fit them in without making yourself loads of work and causing water trouble. And then of course, what do you look for when you buy a fish? Well, discus should be round, a nice round shape. Always check out the eye. The size of the eye to the size of the body is very important, I think. Some fish are stunted, so this big one here is younger than this one here. He's got quite a big eye and he hasn't grown very well. In fact, he's gone from 2.5 inches to what, about 4.5, 5 in 2 years. This one's only been here a few months and he's a whopper. He's got a nice little eye, it's very clean and shiny and clear. Another thing to look out for on eyes is if they've got like a semicircle of eye missing, they call it a clipped eye. That's just bad genetics on a fish, so someone's bred the wrong fish together. And they've got genetic trouble. And that's another thing, that there is a pigeon. You can see maybe 1 or 2 black specks. That's called peppering. If you buy a pigeon that's been crossed with the wrong fish, or a bad quality pigeon, he'd be covered in black dots. And some people don't mind it, I don't like it. So again, that's down to quality of fish genetics, which I'm no expert on, but all I know is if you buy a quality one, you get very little peppering. Some say it's to do with the background, which probably is, but it's also to do with the fish, I think. So watch out for that too. So shape, eye size compared to body, making sure the eye's round and there's no like semicircular bits missing from it, and the amount of peppering is also one to look out for. And then when you look at them in the tank when you're buying them, if they're hiding down the back, if they don't look good, don't buy them. They should be out and about. They should be looking around. They should be doing stuff. I mean, he's digging under a plant. They should be swimming around looking at stuff. I don't think if they're all stuck in the back corner huddled together, it's a good sign. And then I think, yeah, what to avoid. Again, it's simple stuff. Don't buy them too small. Don't buy them from someone you don't know. If they're stunted, I don't think they're ever going to really grow that big. And you can tell a stunted fish again by the size of the eye. And then look at the shape. So that one there, although he's pretty big, he's not particularly great shape. He's got that kind of beaky nose. If you look at the ones that are better, let's try and find a really good shape. This guy over here is a dead good shape. They get that round nose and that round top of the head, and then again the eye. So if you imagine the vertical line through the eye, you want at least 7 to 8 eye heights in that line. If the eye is bigger than that, not necessarily a good one, so watch out. And then of course don't get them if they're heavily peppered. And they should be feeding like mad as well. When you put food in, they should be going for it, they shouldn't be hiding. So, and I guess how good the colours look. I mean, you can tell if they're happy or not by the colours. I've probably got one in here that's not quite so, he's actually behind that white one at the moment. And you can just tell by looking at him, he's a bit dull. But other than that, it's quite straightforward. You can tell when you look at them whether they're good or not. And of course, as long as you use a good breeder, don't buy the cheapest ones you can find. I don't think that's ever a good plan. But obviously don't get ripped off. And then it's down to the shape, the colours, how bright they are, how lively they are, how confident they are. And you probably can't go wrong. But yeah, finding that nice dealer, if he's local, and then using them, and you'll probably want to keep buying from the same dealer once you find one, because I know that people have issues mixing different types of discus Asian ones or other breeds. You can't really mix sometimes because you'll get cross contamination, as they call it, which can cause problems. But I think that would be my advice. Don't buy a small group, don't buy 1s and 2s, don't buy tiny little fish. And always look at the colours, the shapes, and the eye size is definitely a good pointer to a good fish. See if he'll come out, because he is a good one. Currently being chased by that guy there. So yeah, quick vid on tips to look out for when you want to buy some of these. Hope that helps you, and hopefully you can learn from some of my mistakes. Comments, questions below, give us a subscribe, that would be great. Thank you.